Good evening, Simi Valley. Welcome to the League of Women Voters Candidates Forum. Tonight, we're hearing from the candidates running for mayor. I'm David Marin, a member of the League of Women Voters, and I'll be your moderator tonight. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce the president of the League of Women Voters of Ventura County, Kathy Morgan.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here. The League of Women Voters was founded in 1920 with the mission of educating a new group of voters, women, who were granted the right to vote nationwide with the passage of the 19th Amendment. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization committed to providing voters with factual, non-biased information, and as such does not support a particular candidate or political party. The League today continues with the mission of empowering voters and defending democracy by registering voters, providing information about the candidates and the issues, getting out the vote, and supporting fair and transparent elections. The candidate forums are an opportunity for voters to hear from the various candidates and to get the information they need to make an informed choice when they vote. Attendees to the forum are invited to submit the questions they wish asked of the candidates when they register. The candidates have not been provided the questions in advance, and each candidate will have to have the opportunity to answer the questions posed. We are glad that you are here tonight to hear from our candidates. We hope that you get the information that you need to make an informed choice. And at this time, I would like to turn it back to tonight's moderator, David Marin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy. Tonight's format will be opening statements from each of the candidates, followed by responses to your questions. And then at the end of the evening, we'll do closing statements in the reverse order. I want to point out that there are two other candidates in this race, Wayne Holland and Fred Thomas. We haven't heard back from Wayne Holland. We tried to reach him by email and phone. Fred Thomas did contact us. He's at another event. He's hoping to join. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to do that. So we will move forward with these three candidates and hear their positions. If you're interested in watching this forum later or sharing it with a friend, the video will be posted on the League's website about within 24 hours of tonight's forum. And we also had a city council forum scheduled for earlier this evening. We had to postpone that. We will update everyone on our website when that is rescheduled. With that, I'd like to go ahead and begin our opening statements. Our first candidate is Joe Ayala.
Thank you, David. Thank you to the League of Women Voters for letting me speak here tonight. My name is Joe Ayala, candidate for mayor of Simi Valley. I'm a longtime resident, father, husband, and Navy CWA president. Today, families worry about keeping a roof over their heads, paying bills, and keeping food on the table. I'm running for mayor because I believe Simi Valley can and should be a place where everyone has a voice, housing, equal rights, a living wage, and is welcome. I'm a union representative, and I understand the challenges facing both executives and workers in our city. I will advocate for local businesses, workers, and families by providing strong leadership and community services to build a brighter future for our city. When Simi Valley families suffer and are forced out by unreasonable cost of living, lack of opportunity, and little government support, businesses and our communities both suffer. It is my top priority to bring back thriving wage jobs and workforce housing. I will advocate for community service programs and job training programs that will create jobs and prevent crime. I have the knowledge, experience, and community partnership skills necessary to serve Simi Valley as your next mayor. And I'm asking for your vote and for your support. If you'd like more information about my campaign, please go to my website at joeayala.org where you can get more information. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joe. Our next candidate is Mary Portier.
Hi, my name is Mary Portier, and I have done everything locally for Simi Valley. I have been on the Youth Employment Services, the Neighborhoods Council. I've also been president at the Moore Park College, the ASMC president. I've also been the BSU president. And now I look at what's going on in Simi Valley. I've lived here since 1994. And I realize that we have a disappearing group, and that's the youth. And I believe that we need to provide them with jobs. We need to provide them with entrepreneurship, apprenticeship. If I become mayor, I would create an employment economic department so that we can bring back businesses and we can also create more businesses. So vote for me. I would love your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next candidate is Robert Clarizio.
And I'm running for mayor. I'm a lifetime Simi resident. I'm a father. I'm a worker, a person who serves other people. This is starting to get serious. I'm not a politician, and it's been big time politics coming into Simi Valley, forgetting about the youth, as Mary has touched on, forgetting about local workers, forgetting about Simi Valley. So I'm here, not a politician, lived here my whole life, and I care about Simi. This is really important because it takes a certain person. It's just not anybody that can do this. It takes someone who can serve, not just a big leader telling people what to do, but someone who will listen to the citizens who are supposed to be directing that person. So thank you, and hi to my mom.
Thank you, Robert. We're going to begin our first question with you, Mary. And let's start off with the vision of Simi Valley. The mayor is separate from the council. Each city council person is elected from one of the districts, but the mayor is elected at large and expected to represent at large. So share with us how you will work with members of the council and community members, including those who have different political opinions and visions for the city. Tell us about your idea of leadership as mayor.
First of all, I believe that we should work together. Everybody may not agree on everything, but I think we all should work together and create ideas and vision that will bring the city together and also help our city have a voice. I believe that I will work with them and have common ground. I will show them my ideas. I will also listen to their ideas, and I will certainly work with them to create whatever we need, transparency, and to help the Simi Valley community, have a voice, and to also feel like they're a part of the system, and to also feel like they're a part of what we're doing. And I believe that it's very important to look across the table and to understand that we should not be fighting each other. If we're working for the people, we have to think about the people. We have to.
Thank you, Mary. I'm going to have to stop you there. Time's up. Joe, we'll go to you next with the same question about your style of leadership, working with people with opposing views, sort of your vision as a mayor as opposed to a council person.
Well, I mean, I'm doing that now. I'm the president of a union, a labor union, and we represent people of many different political opinions. But we have to work together. My executive board is comprised of it looks a lot like our city council. There's people from all over all walks of life, differing political opinions. And I work well with all of them. I've done so for over 12 years. I've been reelected to my current position 4 times. So the members, I'm doing something good for the members. It's obvious that I have been able to bridge that gap. I think what it takes really to work with other people is just to understand their point of view. Even if you don't agree with it, you have to at least have an open discussion with people and allow differing viewpoints to come in together and work and then figure out what you can do as a team to make those viewpoints come to fruition. So as I said before, I've done this for many, many years, and I could see myself doing this in city council, especially as mayor, with very little transitional effort.
Thank you. Robert, same question to you. Share with us a little bit about your vision as working as a mayor as opposed to a council person and working with others with different political views.
Okay, so first of all, the mayor needs to represent the people. He is just a city council vote, the same as anybody else, but he needs to be the advocate for the people. There are plenty of signs out there, and man, you drive through town, you can't believe it, but that's to get elected and say like, hey, do this for me and I'm gonna do something for you. We've seen this dog and pony show over and over. Again, there should be a huge advocacy for the people of Simi Valley. They should not be surprised at what is going on. How did this get passed or this and that? That's the mayor's job, to go to the people and say, hey, the city council wants this. What do we feel about this? And listen to everybody, because this is not, hey, shut your mouth. We're gonna do it my way. I'm a boss. I know how to do it. The people are the boss.
Thank you, Robert. I have to stop there. Joe, we're going to start the next question with you. And I'm sure this is on almost everybody's mind, but it's the issue of affordable housing, housing that's actually attainable for the middle class and for young people. What is your plan to bring attainable housing to Simi Valley, especially for young adults, single parents, teachers, young families?
Thank you for the question. That's a wonderful question. I am an affordable housing advocate. I have been so for many years. My plan for that, I actually have spoken to developers here in Simi Valley. They are interested in building affordable housing. It doesn't take much. It just the city council has been very reticent, unfortunately, to make that happen. We waited from the state mandate to build affordable housing up until very recently to actually start doing it, and then we did it haphazardly and really with very little effect. There's a 100-unit housing facility opening up here that has 10 affordable housing units. So the way I would do it would be to reach out to local developers that are already in the middle of doing building here, and then entice them with either tax incentives or with with tax incentive actually would be the best way the most straightforward route to go about that, and have them buy into building more affordable housing in Simi Valley.
Thank you. Robert, same question to you. Tell us about your plans to bring affordable housing to Simi Valley.
Okay, so first of all, this is a great ambitious thing here, and I wish that would, if I won, I would have all this power. But the reality is we can just go out and speak with the people and the city council, find out what's already in place. Now, listen, there's a lot of new developments being put up right now. They can be made affordable. That could be something that the city could look into subsidizing. It's not like they changed the, hey, you only get a half a bathroom. They can make the developments already in place, all these new developments coming up, more affordable to people. But this, again, is something that we need to, no one has the power to just do this, so we need to, again, communication, talk to the people, get this out there, and decide in that way.
Thank you, Robert. Mary, we'll wrap up with you on this same question about bringing affordable housing to Simi Valley.
Well, I think we have to be careful about making promises, because I think affordable housing ties in with good business. And I feel like, to say that we can just make a plan and it's going to happen. No, we have a lot of things to deal with. We have to look at our businesses in Simi Valley. Are they growing? More housing? Is that going to be more work? I think that we have to really focus on what we're doing when we say affordable housing, because we can't just think about quantity. We have to think about quality. Are the people who really need the housing getting the housing? And if they get the housing, how are they going to pay for it? We have to also look at everything else that goes along with that. So I don't want to make any promises of doing anything, but I think that we should look at the whole picture and we should deal with that, because we have a water crisis as well. What kind of water are we going to use? Are we going to use recycled water to build these homes? We have a lot of things to think about.
Thank you. Robert, you're up next. It's almost like Mary was reading the next question. So the question, Robert, for you deals with water. It's how do you feel Simi Valley is managing water resources in general, and where it's getting its water from to provide for new housing when current residents are asked to cut back? So share with us your thoughts about the water situation in Simi Valley and any changes or strategies you have.
Well, it was a kind of a shock to me during a worldwide pandemic and a California drought like we've never seen, that we were able to get so many projects passed. I mean, this really needed to be a question for these people doing the environmental resource impact studies and using current models. But all that stuff seemed to get passed so fast. And like Mary touched on, we can barely even keep the lights on here in Simi for the houses they have right now. And the water also is limited. So now we got all these developments coming in. Hopefully somebody has updated those environmental impact studies, and we'll get to the bottom of it. But again, I don't have a golden answer for you.
Thank you. Mary, same question to you. What are your thoughts and strategies for managing water resources in general in Simi Valley, and the fairness issue about asking for people to cut back while you're building new housing?
Well, I believe that, okay, so we're doing what we can do right now to deal with the water crisis, but I truly believe that we should use recycled water for our garden, our lawns, and also golf courses and different things like that. I believe also that we should really deal on working, to repair our infrastructure. We have 2 pipes coming into Simi Valley that are rusty and may burst. We don't want to end up like Flint, Michigan. So I think it's very important to look at every aspect of our water crisis and what we need to keep the city functional with that. And I know that they have like purple pipes, with water and different things. So we can touch into that and deal with those type of things like repairing our infrastructure and bringing more water, recycled water to Simi Valley in the meantime.
Thank you. Joe, we'll wrap up with you on the same question about your strategies for water.
Actually, I was speaking to a city council candidate the other day, and he gave me a great idea. I've been thinking about this, and Palm Springs does this as well. They do non-potable water for the lawns, for their. We're using potable water to water our lawns. I mean, water you could drink from out of the faucet is watering your lawns and watering our cities, our main city grassy areas. We should be using a thing called gray water, which is basically recycled water that you can't drink, but it is good for the grass. It does grow the grass, and it makes the grass look nice. That is a really, I mean, that's one of the best ideas I've ever seen as far as for city water management. You don't have to use water to drink, and you can also at the same time be watering and making sure that your lawns and your public green spaces are still beautiful.
Thank you. Joe, we're going to stay with you for the next question. Let's talk a little bit about your general vision, your goals. What do you think are the top 3 projects that the city should invest its resources in? And particularly the projects around the critical need for growth and sustainability and the public's benefit. Where would you try and make those projects?
Well, we touched on one earlier. You asked the question about affordable housing. I think that needs to be something that we need to work on. If you need to have some place where people can actually live. It's unfortunate that most of my children who are going to be 17 and 15 are going to have a really hard time trying to find a place to live here in Simi Valley. We need to really work on our housing. One of the other issues that I've been concerned with is the lack of things to do in Simi Valley for young adults and for teenagers. Our mall is dying. It's basically the shell of what it used to be. There's still a movie theater there, but I would call that the dance mall, because there's a lot of dance places there, but there's just really nothing else to do. So I would like to convert that mall into a multi-use facility where you would have an actual destination. People who want to come to Simi Valley. We need to create more tax revenue within the city, and our economy, lastly, has to really increase. And by doing that, I think that would increase our economy incrementally.
Thank you. Mary, same question to you. What are the top 3 projects for the city to invest in?
I believe affordable housing, businesses, and also our transportation system. With affordable housing, we can do workforce housing, auxiliary housing, and we can also do duplexes. One thing we can't do is forget our veterans as well. We need to focus on them because they have given their lives to serve in this country. Also businesses, and I want to create a economic intervention department so that we deal with new businesses and also older businesses. These are important. We can't just talk about having businesses. Also, we can have our festivals, we can have our Renaissance, we can have tourists come in and enjoy our city for the day and then leave and bring the revenues in. And also, I think it's important to have entrepreneurship and apprenticeship for the younger people as well.
Thank you. Robert, share with us your top 3 projects for city investment. Robert, are you
is-
still
is-
with us? Looks like Robert may have frozen. I'm just going to give him a moment, see if it clears. We can always bring him back in. This is the challenge with Wi-Fi type thing. Let me just check my list here to see who's going to be up next. I'm going to move on to the next question. Mary, you'll be up first on this next question. We'll get Robert back in hopefully here pretty soon. Mary, share with us your thoughts about improving the business economy. What does Simi Valley need to do to attract businesses, retain businesses, make sure they stay? Well, hold on, we may have Robert back. Robert, are you back with us?
I hope so.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So Robert, let me give you that last question so you're
Okay.
even with everyone. What are the top 3 projects in Simi Valley that you think the city should invest in? Are you still with us? Robert?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get you unmuted. Okay, Robert, share with us the top 3 projects.
Okay. Definitely the kids. They have nothing to do here. We took away like the bike track and with promises to do something. Now, anyone who's ever raised kids knows their attention span's about 3 days. This has been years. I think a legend, a local bike legend. My good friend Rick McClure passed away, never even seen it to fruition. They were talking they would replace. Listen, with children, you have to have something else in place first, and then you can get rid of the old. Otherwise, there's too much other negative things for them to get into. So the kids, helping the existing businesses. We have built a bunch of new business places out here, and now the rest of them are still empty. So businesses, the kids, and definitely fentanyl. This is serious.
I'm going to have to stop you there. Time is up, Robert. Okay,
Okay.
Mary, we'll go back to you. As far as the question on the economy, share with us your plans to improve business attraction to the city and longevity in the city.
I believe that the people of Simi Valley are a vibrant bunch. So we need to create an atmosphere that also represents that. And I believe tourism is one way to go. And also making sure that our youth are not neglected, or that we train or teach our youth to take it. We can even teach them finances at an early age. I think it's very important to let our youth know that they are important to the growth of Simi Valley, not shut them out, but create programs that they can get in and think about small businesses. We really need to focus on small businesses. And I feel that that's the wave to go, is to also creating an atmosphere where people can come in, where we can get tourist dollars, right? We can bring back our Renaissance, our festivals. We can have family activities, just keep it going.
Thank you. Robert, same question to you. What are your plans to attract business and retain the ones that are here?
Well, I think that retaining the ones that are here is super important. Attracting new business will come with the adjustment of our city, the way we carry ourselves. Our city right now, it doesn't seem to be as attractive as these other neighboring cities in the Canal Valley. For some reason, we're kind of, in the middle of like an identity crisis. So I think the major thing for me would be to try to support the businesses so it doesn't look like a ghost town that exists. Work with people. Bring this to the community, maybe a lake, a racetrack. Again, dreams of the mall. We don't own the mall.
Well, we got you almost through your minute, Robert. So that was Good. We're going to go ahead, Robert, move on to Joe for the same question. Joe, share with us your plans to attract businesses and retain businesses.
I mentioned this earlier, but the our mall is fairly pretty much a dying mall. I would like to create a multi-use facility there where people could live and work at the same time, but also create an entertainment destination out of that mall. Right, like I said before, basically that mall is a dance mall with a movie theater and a couple of places to eat. It's worked very well. If you've ever been to Burbank, they have a great avenue there on Orange Grove. It brings in a lot of tax revenue into the city. It's one of the most successful destinations that you can go to in the city of Burbank, which is already making a lot of tax revenue anyway. We shouldn't be turning away our businesses, our new businesses coming into Simi Valley, and we should be supporting the ones that are already here. The rents are too high in most of these businesses, and a lot of these properties are unoccupied. The landlords take advantage of that because they get tax breaks from that. I would create a vacancy tax for those landlords that own those businesses, so that they would be encouraged to actually have businesses in Simi Valley.
Thank you. Joe, we're going to move on to the next question. You'll be up first. And you have all touched on this a little bit. I'm going to give you a full minute to talk about youth. And Joe, let's start with you. Is there a vision you have for creating spaces for millennial or younger generations? And it's not just entertainment, but the business, the housing, the entertainment side of it. Share with us your vision.
I'm not sure I understand the question, David. Can you please repeat that?
Sure. So do you have a vision for creating space where the young people in Simi Valley can prosper for business, for housing, for entertainment? How can they be successful?
Understood. Okay. Yes. Well, I did touch on that earlier. The mall is one avenue. It's an idea for young adults to be able to go do something. Teenagers and young adults. Robert touched on this earlier. Just don't have a little bit on, at least for the children. Don't really have a whole lot to do in Simi Valley. My wife and I have eaten at all the restaurants in Simi Valley numerous times, but honestly, we mostly go outside of the city to go eat nowadays because it's the same 5 places that we go to all the time. We need to create more attractions for people who want to make them stay here, to keep our tax dollars in Simi Valley. Too many people are leaving the city to go and have fun, then coming back to Simi Valley and living here. So we need to create a more of a welcoming atmosphere for people that are living in Simi Valley, especially for the youth and for teenagers or teenagers and for young adults, to be able to encourage them to spend their money here and not elsewhere.
Thank you. Robert, same question to you. Do you have a vision for creating space for millennial and younger generations to prosper in Simi Valley?
Yes. Like I said, it would be nice if the city followed through and produced a bike track that they took away from the children. But like I said, it's been years. So, a lot of those kids have maybe found their way into bad situations. So yeah, my vision is put support out there for businesses to encourage the youth. Like Mary kind of touched on this, and I wish we could control them all, but like I said, it's somebody's business. But we could present this to citizens and the mall owners to create young entrepreneur businesses that we could subsidize. This way they could get a taste of what it's like to operate a business in Simi. Also, young adults with autism, there's not enough being done for that. An autism center to give them jobs.
Gonna have to
teach
stop
them
you
how to
there.
work. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Robert. Mary,
Sure.
same question to you about your vision for creating space for young people.
First of all, thank you so much. First of all, I would like to focus on young people as an individual. What do they need? We can't create a space if we don't look at what's going on with our kids in the community. I think one thing that we need to focus on are families. And if we're creating any type of activities, I would like to see more family activities, whether it's at the mall, whether it's at any space, because I feel like I see a separation going on, and I think it has a lot to do with our kids going through changes. So before I can even get to that step, I'd like to evaluate the situation and make sure that it's family oriented, We need to bring the family unit back together. And I believe that we need to focus on creating more education towards growth. And then I think that adding those things would be beneficial, but I think we have a lot to deal with before we get to that stage of creating those kind of activities. But if we do, we need
going to have to stop you there.
family.
Right.
Mhm.
Robert, we're going to move on to you for the next question. And there's actually quite a few questions on this issue, so it's obviously a concern. And it's dealing with immigrants moving into the city of Simi Valley. What are your plans to deal with immigrants, legal and undocumented, entering Simi Valley? Do you believe the mayor has a particular leadership role to help coordinate efforts in this regard?
Well, I'm the son of 2 Italian immigrants who came to Simi Valley, and I was raised here my whole life. Like I said, we spoke Italian, we didn't speak English. My dad was really dark, and still to this day, maybe I struggle with identity crisis. I'm not Italian looking enough, and I joke about it, but that is a real issue. So immigrants coming to society, the mayor's role is to consult the people, all the people. Like I said, I come from an immigrant family. We all know, and we all work with people that are immigrants. This is something that, well, there's challenges they face, the language barrier, all kinds of things that we could use, get education out there to make it easier for them to be legal citizens, and also the ones that are legal.
Thank you, Robert. We're going to have to stop there. Stop there. Mary, we're going to move on to you. Same question, dealing with immigrants, legal and undocumented, and also what kind of leadership or other coordinating efforts would you put in place?
Okay, I'm an immigrant myself, so I know how that feels to be an immigrant. I think that being a mayor, you're a mayor of everyone, whether they're an immigrant or not. And I think that immigrants should have a pathway to becoming legally here. So I think the focus should be on that. But to say that I would discriminate against someone who is an immigrant, that wouldn't be it. So I think I would be a mayor for everyone based on my stance as well.
Okay, thank you. And
You're
Joe,
welcome.
we'll wrap up the same question with you.
We're a nation of immigrants. I'm not really understanding what I do to deal with the immigrant situation. Well, first of all, the immigration is a federal issue. It's not a municipal issue. But what I would do as mayor, I guess I would encourage more immigration fairs. I volunteer at them all the time. I help to register immigrants all the time. It's not that hard to do, and we don't really encourage that in the city of Simi Valley. We rarely do that here. So that would be a path forward. But I think everybody on the Zoom call is an immigrant. I don't think there's any one of us that can claim. There are no Native Americans on the Zoom, are there? I don't think there are. So none of us can claim that we're not immigrants. So I encourage immigration. I think that it's part of the human condition, and we tend to, as a species, move from place to place. So I would encourage immigration. I would encourage those people, and I would represent them with the same fervor that I would represent a person that was native born or a person that had lived here forever.
Thank you, Joe. We're going to move on to the next set of questions. Joe, you're up first on this one. And let's step back from policy and learn a little bit more about each of you. So tell us, Joe, why you think voters should vote for you and why you feel you're qualified. This is a high-level leadership position. And can you actually put in the time commitment necessary?
Thank you for the question. That's a really good one. Well, what qualifies me for this position? I am an administrator in my union, and I've been one for over a decade, going on 13 years now. As such, I call it a microcosm of a city, because we have all the same problems in the union as the city does municipally, except for, obviously we don't have to pave roads and make sure that our water is potable. But we do have to do budgets. We have to make sure that all the members are served. Again, of all walks of life, of all political leanings. Part of what I would attribute to my success is my ability to reach out to every single person and actually listen to them and take their input and and combine and unite people. I literally do this for a living. I've been an administrator, but not just an administrator. I'm a negotiator. I'm an organizer. So all those qualities, I think, lend themselves to a good municipal leader as well. And I think those are very high qualifications.
Thank you. Mary, same question to you. Why should voters choose you? Why do you feel you're qualified? And can you actually put in the time necessary?
I can. First of all, I'm not a politician. I have worked at Moore Park College when things were very tough, uncertainties. And I think in this day and age, we need people who can solve problems. I was able to create webinars and seminars to help students who were struggling through this pandemic. I was a liaison between staff and students, and I was able to create an atmosphere that bring peace and comfort to the students. I even created a town hall so that we can listen to students fear about vaccines. And also I was able to create different programs that these students could come to me and say, you know what, I don't feel so good about things, and I'm confused, and I feel very scared about what's going on with the pandemic. How can you help me? So I was the one that they came to. I'm a problem solver. I'm not a politician, first of all, but I do know how to solve problems. I do know how to work with other people because I've worked with DEI, diversity, equality, and inclusion boards.
Thank you, Mary. Robert, same question to you. Why should voters choose you? Why do you think you're qualified? Can you put in the time needed?
Well, I think this is a great question. Absolutely, number one, I can put in the time. This is exactly what the city needs. It needs somebody that will work, hit the ground, knock on doors, whatever it takes to work for the city, not just another feather in their cap. Look, I've done this accomplishment. Someone that will actually listen to people. It will not be beneath them. They need a worker right now. Whether they realize it or not, this has been going on for a long time. So I really realize people need to wait. People hopefully are waking up saying like, hey, doing the same thing over and over is just, right? It's insanity. So we need somebody. I'm not a politician. I drive my kids to school and I'm stuck in that traffic. And then I'm dealing with that. I have teenagers. So I'm living.
Thank you, Robert. Gonna have to.
In Simi, dealing with it.
Thank you, Robert. Mary, we'll move on to the next question. So you've all just told us a little bit why you think you're qualified. Now let's learn a little bit about what you have done to contribute in the community. Mary, we'll start with you. What are some of the things where you've actually been involved in, volunteered, served on boards, community service? Here's your chance to tell about your background. Oh, let me go ahead and unmute you, Mary. Sorry about that. Go
Thank
ahead
you.
and start again.
I was the vice president of the PTA. I'm also on the Youth Employment Services. I'm also on the Neighborhood Council. I have volunteered at Good Samaritan Center. I have created my own company called Covenant Blankets, where I give out free blankets to the homeless. I don't get any donation. I buy it with my own money because I think that we need to care about each other. And I also help the veterans, just look into different pantries that I can contribute food and different stuff and focus on that group as well. So I have been in the community and I've fought for Simi Valley. Everything I've done is locally. And so I feel like I'm giving back to the community. So those are the things that I've done. If I've missed anything out, that's okay. But I've also volunteered at the churches around Christmas time, giving out presents to the children.
Thank you. Joe, same question to you. Tell us a little bit about where you've been involved in the community.
Well, I'm a Catholic. I attend St. Peter Claver Church just down the street from where I live, and I contribute regularly to that parish. I have worked on. I volunteered also with the Samaritan Center, as Mary has done. We did a huge cleanup over there. We cleaned up all of the. They had a gigantic pile of brush, and we cleaned that up in a day. I regularly do community cleanup also with the Parks Department. We do the Hummingbird Trail, where we do a lot of graffiti cleanup as well. I've been very involved with our local political structures around Simi Valley. So there's a lot of activism that goes into what I do as well. But with this community, those three things that I mentioned earlier are the things that I've done a lot in Simi Valley, and I've also done food distribution drives as well in the city of Simi.
Thank you. Robert, same question to you. Tell us a little bit about your past as far as volunteering in the community.
Well, I think just living here.
I'm sorry, Robert, I accidentally muted you. We're just going to ask you to start over.
Well, Simi Valley has always had that help your brother or sister out. As far as that's what we, if it
Unfortunately, you're breaking up, Robert. We know you're on your cell phone. I think you froze there a little bit. I'll give you just a moment, see if you come back. Since we only had 3 candidates tonight, audience, we're actually making very good time getting a lot of your questions in, and terrific questions as well. So we're a little technically challenged tonight, but we are making some progress. Robert, are you able to hear us? No. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next question. And Joe, oh, Robert, you're back?
Hello?
Hi, Robert. Go ahead and tell us a little
Hi.
bit about your community service. We didn't hear you.
Okay, well, I'll just cut to the chase. Yeah, so living in Simi Valley, it's a, help a brother or sister out type of town, small town feel. I come from a sports background, so a lot of coaching, stepping up to coach. Churches, forget it. I do part of a Skid Row team where we're out there doing Skid Row at least once a month. We prepare packages also for the Samaritan Center and for Christmas Child all around the world. I have stepped up at junior high school and high school level also when they needed a counselor for outdoor school or to fill in as a coach. So again, it's just that small town, you help a brother or sister out.
Thank you, Robert. Joe, we'll start with you on this next question. We have not talked about public safety yet. So share with us your vision about how Simi Valley is delivering protection to its community, efforts you think should be made in the area of illegal drugs, and also share with us if you're getting any campaign funds from the police organization.
I'll answer the last question first, I suppose. No, I'm getting nothing from the Police Officers Association, and I haven't asked them for anything. Most of my fundraising has gone from been small dollar donations from local supporters, and that's the way I want to keep it. My vision for policing in Simi Valley is that it's okay. It's being done. Police are necessary. It's part of keeping our city safe. I would, and they are actually moving in the direction that I was thinking about doing a couple of years ago. They are starting to do more mental health coaching or mental health trained officers to go out and address the issue of people with mental health issues instead of going there with a gun. They're going there talking to them about trying to help them out. So that's actually something I'm in favor of, and that we should do more of. Those are my basic thoughts on that.
Thank you. Robert, same question to you. Your views on policing in Simi Valley, and are you accepting any campaign money from the organization?
Okay, no, I'm not accepting any money from the police department. I believe we have a fabulous police department. There wasn't even a police department here when I was a kid. And actually, I hope they don't take that as like a ditch. But no, I really believe we have a great police department, but I think we could do better. I think, why not be number one? You know what I mean? They're always around the top, but I've been talking with beat officers, see what they need. And a lot of them, I've got some really interesting answers. So yeah, I think we have a fabulous police department. I think they're going in a great direction, but I'm like, let's be number one. Like, you know, if and more of that from people in Simi. I would like to hear like, you know, hey, the best come from Simi.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mary, share with us, please, your views on policing in Simi Valley and if you're accepting any contributions.
I don't have, I'm not accepting any contributions. First of all, I believe we have a good police department, but like Robert says, we need to be better. And I think my main focus is always the youth. And I think that they can use assessment tools that could make sure that they have everything they need to handle these youth on a person-to-person basis. We can't put all the kids together. Some may have depression, some may have been victimized, some may have been homeless. So I think it's important to use some of the funds that they have towards making the community better and focusing on the youth so that they can be contributing positively in our society. So I like our police department. I don't want to change anything with them because I want our city to stay safe. But I think also, as Robert said, they really need to evaluate their officers and maybe even do more training to handle changing times, you know, so.
Okay, thank you, Mary.
Mhm.
You're going to go first, Mary, on the next question. As a city council person or the mayor, there's more than just your city. There's working with regional groups, other agencies, the Transportation Commission, air pollution, water agencies. So this question is asking, what are some of the particular areas or groups or agencies you'd want to serve on if you're elected?
Well, I'm doing that right now, working with others. And I think it's easy when you can listen. So I don't mind in working with environment because I feel like this is what's happening to our world, not just Simi Valley. We're having a problem with the environment and we have to learn sustainable methods in order to survive. So I would like to be on environmental.
Thank you. We'll go back to Joe here. I'm going to unmute you, Joe, and give you an opportunity to share with us the boards and commissions that you would want to serve on if you're elected.
Oh, goodness, Citizens Advisory Committee, but that's I don't know if that's part of the I'm not sure if that even exists anymore. Certainly, as Mary touched on, the environmental committee would be very important to me because I do believe that we need to be very conscious about fire prevention in Simi Valley. We are very close to a lot of open spaces, and we've been afflicted by more than a few scary incidents where homes were either damaged or very close to being damaged by fire. So that's a very important thing to me. I would also like to look at our youth advisory committee, make sure that we are reaching out to our youth and making sure that their voices are being heard. I think that's a very important facet of being a leader. You want to make sure that you're getting to the youth and to the people that, and also on the elderly advisory committee, on the senior citizens advisory committee. That would be another committee I'd love to serve on, as well as I am getting older myself. So I'd love to be on that as well.
Thank you. Robert, we'll wrap up this question with you as far as regional boards, commissions, others. Where would you like to serve? What are your interests?
Well, definitely I have a huge interest for the youth. They're our future. I think Simi Valley's done a really good job with our elderly and me also. I was thinking, I thought, well, I'm probably covered, but definitely the youth, I would want to be deeply involved with that. And also mental health is just such a huge issue. And that can tie into the elderly, and also autism is a big thing, you know. People understanding adults with autism is a huge thing that we don't really do enough of out here. But yes, I would love to work with neighboring communities and just get their insight. And like I said, work, like not just like come be the mayor after work. Go to work, come here, and and get on to some of these committees.
Thank you, Robert. And Joe, I think you're up next first. Actually, I don't think it, I know it. I have a chart. Joe, we're going to start. We're almost done here with the amount of time. There's still quite a few questions, but this is a question I want to ask, and then I'm going to reframe it slightly. So the question is, are you going to let radical leftists take over and bankrupt the city of Simi Valley? But what I want to reframe it as, there are extreme views on all sides within Simi Valley. And being a mayor and a city council person, you have to work with everyone. There are concerns about the other side. How will you protect the city so it doesn't go bankrupt from any of these type of extremist views?
Well, first of all, radical leftists can't take over the city and bankrupt it. I'm not even sure what kind of framing that for that question is, but I sit on the left. If anybody was curious about that, but I'm certainly not looking to bankrupt the city. I'm trying to make the city better. We're looking at affordable housing is not going to bankrupt the city. Making our workforce economy stronger is not going to bankrupt the city. These idea now, because we're in such extreme times that people they're so polarized one way or the other. And again, I guess I have to bring up my union background again. I deal with all those people all the time, and you have to find some way to address them all without letting them burn down the house, so to speak. So there's many people on the right and there's many people on the left that are equally divided and extremely polarized. I seek moderation as a leader from the city, and that's what we should be focused on.
Thank you. Robert, same question to you as far as dealing with extreme positions on either side and protecting the city from becoming bankrupt.
Okay, so this just goes with the territory. Definitely Simi Valley can be opinionated, and you gotta love them. You know, you gotta love the brothers on the right and the sisters on the left, brothers on, sisters on the right. You gotta love every single one of them. Listen, this is a nonpartisan position. And that's exactly what it calls for. And that's why. This is part of a fear, dog, and pony show. Listen, I've taken almost a 2-year break from social media. And this is fear generated by media just to keep you all distracted. Watch, what's going on over here while they're putting up a hotel or something in your neighborhood. You know what I mean? Listen, we've got to get past this and realize we're being fooled and not to get suckered again and get along.
Thank you, Robert. Mary will wrap up this question with you as far as how you would deal with extreme positions on either side.
In any job, there will be extreme position. I think the main thing is to listen. And you as the mayor, you have to do, if you really have the people's hearts or the people's interests at heart, I should say, then you will do the best for the city. And I think that's what it has to be. You focusing on your job and doing the best for your city. You're not going to please everybody, but it has to be people first. And I think all these distraction about left and right, I just think that we lose the gist when we do focus on things like that. We need to look straight ahead and create initiatives and different programs, departments that will have everybody in Simi Valley. And not everybody's going to like you, or not everybody's going to agree with your views. So you can't waste time thinking about what they're thinking. Just do the best for the city. That's what I say.
Thank you. Well, we have reached the point of the evening where we're going to begin closing statements. Candidates, thank you all very much for your responses tonight and participating with us. We're going to go in the reverse order. Robert, you will be first on the closing statement. When you're ready, you'll have 1 minute.
Okay. All right, so I'm ready. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes.
I'd just like to say, this is a position that some people just may not be made for. And we can't waste any more time. We've seen it all over and over. And we fall for it time and time again. And you all know or have a friend that you're like, bless his or her heart, they just can't do this. You have to not only be open to a position, sometimes you don't even have a position, because ultimately you've got to be hearing from the people and presenting all transparency to what is going on in the city. These are your people. You serve them. I'm not a politician. I'm a father first. I'm a resident lifetime in Simi Valley. I drive in the traffic. There's going to be more to come. So I'm not leaving anywhere either. So I'm here to stay. I have to live with decisions we all make. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. And now we'll move on to Mary Portier. You have 1 minute.
Okay. First of all, I'm not a politician, but I've been a longtime resident of Simi Valley. I have been on boards. I have been on the PTA. I have volunteered. I have, looked out for the Simi Valley, people, because my heart is with the Simi Valley people. Like I said, I'm not a politician, so I'm not basing this on, winning some polls or whatever. I just want to give back to the community that I have raised my children in. My family came from a military background. This is my home, and I've put my heart into it, and I fought for the people, and I've never hesitated to take a stance on what I wanted to do for the city, whether it's being on the neighborhood council so that I can get more in touch with my community, or being on the youth employment services so I could know what's going on with the youth, and I could also use my skills, my experience to help out in the community. That's what it is for me.
Thank you, Mary. And our last candidate tonight is Joe Ayala.
Well, I wanted to thank you, David and Kathy and the League of Women Voters for having me here tonight. As I mentioned earlier, I have been a community leader for a very long time, a union leader, a community activist for a very long time. This is mentioned over and over again tonight, but I guess I'll just say one more time, none of us that are running for office are politicians. I certainly have never held a political seat, a municipal seat, even though Robert and I did run in 2020. I wouldn't consider either one of us politicians. But we are trying to do the work to make Simi Valley a better community. I do love this city. I think there's a lot of great people in this town. My kids are growing up here. I'm raising two wonderful daughters in this city, and they are both amazing people. And I have a lot of friends in this town that I've made over the time that I've been here, including Robert, who we've gotten to meet. And as I said before, I love this city. If you'd like more information about me, please go to my website at joeayala.org, where you can sign up to volunteer or contribute. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you to all the candidates. Remind the audience that without candidates running for office, our democracy would just sort of burn out. So we're very grateful to people who give up the time, and it's an impact on your family as well. Before we wrap up tonight, I do want to share with our audience a little bit of information about the election and the balloting process. Ballots will be mailed out to all registered voters October 10th. You can return your ballot by mail at a drop box, or you can still go into a voting center in Simi Valley when we get closer to voting day. You can track your ballot if you decide to drop it off at a drop box or in the mail by going to the state's website, where'smyballot.sos.ca.gov. And once you put in your name, they will be able to tell you if your ballot's been received in the mail, has it been delivered to elections. We also have some resources up here, votersedge.org/CA. Great place to go. Type in your address and it'll show you all the information on candidates running Congress, US Senate, State Senate, and some of their positions. And of course, please visit our website, the LWVVenturacounty.org. Click on, you can actually read a lot more about the league there, and you can click on candidate forums and scroll down to register for any of our upcoming forums or watch videos of any of the forums that we've had so far. I remind you, there are two other candidates on the ballot, Wayne Holland and Brett Thomas, who were unable to be with us tonight. Thank you to the three of you that were able to join us. And with that, I want to do one more thing. I want to thank our volunteers, Kathy Morgan, Pat Essex, Cheryl Collard, Maddie Park, and Wayne Morgan, helping to put all of this together. And I'm David Marin, thanking you from the League of Women Voters. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.